All right, let's get straight into it. Next week chapter 2 weeks, and this chapter was kind of mid. Okay, with that said, let's actually talk about this chapter. But before that, man, happy New Year's, guys. How's it been? It's been a while, man. It's been a good while, and it's gonna be another good while till we get another chapter. I'm gonna try to see if I can put up some videos for this week, but until then, we got this chapter to review. Okay, so this chapter of Chainsaw Man is really going through what's going on with Denji, what's going on with Denji's mindset, and what's going on with Denji's relationship and the future of his relationship to come. An example being Denji's mindset. This chapter also reminds me of JJ chapter when Gojo says, "Throughout the heavens and the earth, I stand alone as the honored one." Even though something tragic has happened, he's just so happy to be himself right now that it kind of doesn't really matter. His happiness overtakes the bad things that have happened recently. And it would make sense that Denji's happy because throughout the entire series, we have seen Denji is not truly happy within his normal life, and we have multiple quotes that might actually explain this. It might be because of his chainsaw heart. This was actually explained to us back in chapter 149, where Naruto says, "Hurting people makes you feel alive, doesn't it?" And Denji didn't really have a rebuttal. This was also shown to us again in chapter 137, in which he was attacked by the random men and they had the whole bat fight. Denji did seem alive in that moment, and it even goes back to chapter 135, in which Famine explains that the problem is that Chainsaw Man's heart prevents him from being an ordinary human. So, with all these evidence in order, it might actually be very hard for Denji to live in an ordinary society life, in which being Chainsaw Man is the only option he has in his life, at least a happy life. And this is why I believe we're seeing like the last previous chapter where he saw Paichida and Paichida said, "What's the next dream?" And Denji's signifying that he hasn't even lived this dream because this dream hasn't ended yet. He still wants to be Chainsaw Man to the fullest. And when he's fully complete being Chainsaw Man, then he can move on to his next dream. As long as Denji is not finished showing Paichida his dreams, then he has not finished being Chainsaw Man because that's how their contract works. But because of this, it's leading Denji to now question his relationship with Naita. He himself said he kind of like feels like a bad person because even though the pets have just been burned up in the building, which I'm still have a question mark on that, he feels as though he's kind of like not the right person or right state of mind to be a good influence on Naita, because he feels like, even when Naito was talking to him, he couldn't rebuttal that because he felt like she was right. Like hurting people to a certain degree does kind of feel good to him, and he feels like he himself is a bad role model for her to be around. But the thing that Denji doesn't realize is he's the only one that can have an influence on Naito. Kishibe left Naito with Denji specifically because of it. I remember the chapter Kishibe said it best: "You're the best man for the job, the only man for the job." And it makes me wonder, when are we gonna get back Kishibe? There's so many characters he's not giving us. But until then, we're just gonna have to wait. And there's actually a second part of this theory, which I think, excuse me, which I think is a little bit out there, but it's not truly impossible. In which Denji's just being more selfish and just deciding to prioritize his happiness over the happiness of Naito being, because Naito, Naito was kind of a liability of his happiness of being Chainsaw Man for quite a while. And I don't think it's unfair of Denji to choose this, because Denji his whole life has kind of had to take on responsibilities that weren't really him. Ironically enough, the most fun time for Denji is when he was under Miss Machina's control, or at least guidance, because then he had literally no responsibilities. Because under the Bounty Hunter days, he had the responsibility of his debt that was given to him by his father. Miss Machina had no responsibilities. And under his responsibilities with Kishibe, with Naita, it was pretty good as long as he got to be Chainsaw Man. But now that Chainsaw Man's taken away from him and his heart kind of prevents him from being a normal life, it kind of seems more of a torture to him to be a normal person because of it. So he might just be saying, it's better off you go and survive off of something better than me, because I can't truly be the best guide for you, and I want to be selfish to the fullest. And in that sense, I can't get too mad at him. I mean, Denji's only 16. What can I say? But that's pretty much all I have to say for this chapter. Like, there's a lot to talk about, but not too much given. I don't like these type of chapters because he left things so open. Like, Denji said, Naito, maybe you should go somewhere else. And then what's Naito gonna do? Well, okay, you're right, and leave. Is Naruto gonna say, no, wait, let's talk about this? What's gonna happen here? What does this mean? Like, 11 pages, not much done with 11 pages. It wasn't even that funny of jokes. Like, and then we gotta wait 2 weeks for the next chapter. I don't like it. But that's enough for that, man. Please like, comment, subscribe. It's been B3. And stay animated.
Chainsaw.